These are 5 ridiculously cheap woodworking tools that are actually awesome. Check them out. Coming in at number 1 and number 2, because these come in a 2-pack, are some of the best squares you can buy for this price point. I didn't even know they made this until I saw it just a couple of weeks ago. This is the Swanson trim square. It's about 4.5 inches long. It is 4.5 inches long, and if you've watched my channel at all, you know that I really like my little small squares. The original Dell square, the DFM square, and even the Dell square SS, but they are all 3 much more expensive than this, because these both together are only about $26, and if you split them up, then you're only looking at about $13 per square, which is an extremely good deal for a very good quality speed square or small trim square and a combination square. If you compare that to the DFM square, it's about $40. The Dell square is about, I don't know, $80, $90. And then you have the Dell square SS that comes in at about $120. So if you're just getting started, you need a small square, then check this combo out. Especially because it does have the combination square, which you can use to set depths, mark lines, all kinds of other stuff. And then you have the small speed square that's gonna let you do angles, basically draw square lines on small stock, just handy to have in the shop. These 2 squares are some of the most used squares you'll use in a wood shop, especially because they're so small, you'll be grabbing them all the time. Next on the list is this little ruler. This is kind of a competitor or a knockoff of the Woodpeckers brand, but at a much, much lower price. And honestly, these are really good for what they are. I know a lot of you purchased them when I made my fake versus Woodpeckers video. You can check that out after this video. These are really good rulers with that stop block that you'll be able to use to, you know, scribe lines and do all kinds of good stuff. There's not a whole lot of difference between the Woodpeckers brand and this one other than the size of this block. Everything else is very, very similar. If you don't mind a knockoff tool, then this is a good deal for the price. Next on the list, ridiculously cheap, but also very useful to have. Every shop should have a set of screwdrivers. Now, I know a lot of people, all of you probably have drills and drivers and things, but there is a time and a place for screwdrivers, and I personally don't spend big bucks on hand tools. I just don't use them enough. So this is why this set is perfect. This is a Craftsman set. I think there's 8 of these in the set. I've used the mess out of these for almost over a year now. I have seen 0 wear. You may see it, well, I won't say 0. On the tips of, say, the Phillips, you'll see where basically the coloring has been knocked off, but the actual metal is still just like it was the day we met, just like the day when I got them in the shop. You describe the day you got your tools as the day you met. Anyway, these are really handy to have for about $26-ish, I think, is what I gave for them. 8 screwdrivers, Craftsman brand, while not the old Craftsman brand, like some of these wrenches here, hand-me-downs from my father-in-law. These are true American Craftsmans. Though, like, these are just really good to have in the shop for the price. They're just stupid cheap. Be sure to stick around for after number 5. I've got a bonus pick for you that I think you'll love. Next up is the eye gauging router depth and saw guide. You can set up your saw blades with this. You can set up your fence distances with this. You can set up your router bits with this, all with that digital accuracy. You can switch between inches and millimeters, so it doesn't matter if you're in your good old US or anywhere else that doesn't use imperial, then you can use any of these measurements that fit your needs. It also comes with 3 what they call anvils that will replace the bottom one there so that you can swap those out if you need a little extra depth. This one right here stores right here on the right. You're able to lock that in at any point. You can zero it out at any point. And this base is made out of anodized aluminum with laser etched markings, so it's going to hold up for you. It does have these preset gauges here on the end, and that's really handy to set up the fence distance, especially on the router table. So if I want to be able to set the depth of this router bit, I'm just going to lower it down until it touches the table, zero that out, and then I can raise this up to 0.25. I want to cut a 1/4 inch groove in a board. Then I can just move it over to the router bit, raise my router up until it touches the gauge. Then I know it's set at 0.25. Don't have to worry about it. Or for quick and dirty measurements, there are scales on each side, 1 in millimeter, 1 in imperial. So you can just basically set it up very fast if you don't need that digital precision right then and there. You can also use this at the table saw to set your blade depth and also check depths of holes, things like that with it. For the bonus pick, if you don't have a mallet in the shop yet, or if you haven't made your own mallet, consider making one. This is one of my most used tools in the shop, and they cost very little to actually make for yourself. And they're fun to make. I actually have this template available so you can make your own mallet. If you want to check that out, I'll link it below. It's the handle and the head design so you can get those dimensions just right. You can literally cut this out with a jigsaw, glue it together, sand it up, and have a really functional, nice mallet. Or if you don't want to build one, there's rubber mallets like this I've used for years, and they're handy to have in the shop, but there's nothing like making your own and being proud of that. I love having these in the shop, use them all the time. And for the price, very inexpensive. If you like these cheap tools, you'll love those right there. Click at that box, get you the big old virtual fist bump. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.